was Protestant and Sean was Catholic born. But it never made a difference, for our friendship it was strong. And sometimes in the evening when we hear the sound of guns, we said it won't divide us, we'll always be as one.
Thank you very much, Mayde in Ireland. Today we have, again, guest starring on Treasured Tidbits, Kara and Randy Buckley. And as you know, Randy is part of the band of Mayde in Ireland, just like my husband, guitar and drummer. And so whenever they guest star, we get live music. It's very exciting. So today we are doing yet another example of my books. Keep it clean, guys. This is not actually an excerpt from one of my books. It's a deleted scene. This did not actually make it in the final. That's right. Did not make it in the final.
What are you doing? A deleted scene. It was not in the...
It's very exciting. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just block their faces out for
Yeah,
now.
we'll just have to do this a little bit.
Right there.
So in any case, this did not actually make it in the book. And, gentlemen.
We're closer to the exit. Yeah. Whoever said we were, nobody ever accused me of being a
Damn it,
gentleman.
he has the keys.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So what I need to do before we even get started is a disclaimer. There's some spoiler alerts in here. This scene that we're doing that was deleted from the second book, which is the one about Rose, so his English Rose.
Carry the two.
It's because it's at the end of the book, it does reveal some end of the book surprises. So if you've not read the book or you hate spoilers, you might want to read the second book first before you watch this particular video. If you haven't read it or you're not too concerned about, learning something ahead of time, this is a really rather exciting scene that didn't, just for the purposes of length, didn't make it into the book. This scene also has a fair amount of rolls. I don't know if you can see that. It's reversed, obviously, but
it's just like me.
How many?
A blank slate? No, a fair amount of rolls.
Cinnamon, usually. Oh, that was good. Okay. Very good, honey.
Thank you.
So we are going to have to double and triple up on rolls, and hopefully we will be able to successfully.
But I want all the rolls.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have to share, honey.
No.
Yeah. At any case, we're gonna.
Kindergarten sharing wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing. I'll save you some rolls for later.
Okay.
We're going to try and change our voices up enough that you realize kind of that there's been a change in character. Here's hoping we succeed.
And that's something to give us feedback on too, if you
Absolutely.
at the end.
Absolutely. And if you have read my books and you have a scene that you would love to see us or some version of us reenact.
Probably not the boudoir scene.
To see, well, yeah, this the romantic scenes.
I'm pretty sure YouTube says no.
Yeah, they're probably gonna not be acceptable.
Then.
But everything else is fair game, and who knows how we'll butcher it then. So just comments are always welcome. So we're Treasured Tidbits. The guests are Mayde in Ireland. We're going over a deleted scene. I gave the disclaimer. Are we good to get started now?
We're ready to get started.
As we'll ever be.
And as always, at the end of the video, there will be more information about Mayde in Ireland, more information about me, and more information about the book that we are taking this scene from, sort of, because it was deleted. So I guess.
But remember the spoiler alert. So if you plan on reading the books, you might want to do that first before you.
Yeah.
Don't say we didn't warn you.
3 of the 4 of us have read all of my books.
Randy.
Being
before you get a hold of those treasured tidbits.
The one who hasn't.
You read the book first.
So
I'm sorry.
So we are
again.
We are aware that the spoiling effect of this, if you haven't read the books. So take our word for it.
I was around during some of the writing process. I knew some of this already.
Yeah,
it
maybe.
doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't really count.
I don't have to take this.
You realize it's not just that your good friend wrote the books. but your lovely wife helped edit them. So
There it is,
Yeah.
right
Two
there. And I
reasons.
provide moral support.
Yeah.
not by
know whose
not by
morals I'm
actually
supporting,
reading
but-
the books, but yeah, we feel supported. All right. So
Wait, what?
so this, as again, like I
It's all
said,
raw references. I got nothing else. I love that one, of course.
yeah, no.
I went Josh right, but hey, whatever.
But
Family.
YouTube is fine with that.
is jockstrap a bad word? I don't really.
No, it's
Maybe
just
we
No.
should
the
get started.
connotation.
It's all support.
We're
When
gonna
you
The
think about it.
visual.
We're gonna edit that out.
It's all support when you think about
We're
Yeah.
gonna edit that out.
I'm pretty sure outtakes
We're
Take-
gonna edit that out.
4
it.
or something.
Or intakes, whatever manifold you have.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Like I said, this happens. It would have happened towards the end of the book. It is actually the court scene where everybody gets to.
Oh,
Because
did
Lana-
you give them the "We are not professionals" disclaimer?
Oh, I will do that.
They've got to know. Look
At this point, we're not.
That's
we are not
so
professional
secret.
You were
actors.
wondering.
Our those of us that do accents may change the accent in the middle.
intentionally or otherwise.
Or
You never know.
those of
Never
us who
know.
can't do accents.
Because they feel like it, not because they don't have the skill.
Yes. And as always, there tend to be some ad-lib parts and things. So if you ever do,
Ad-lib, what's that?
you know that you
Your
just
whole existence on this planet.
Well, I'm glad you got that.
some impromptu additions. So if you read the book and it doesn't exactly line up word for word with what we're doing here, it's
No.
not my fault.
Sorry.
So
Right in the bone.
so court scene. Lawyer
Yeah,
is going
goal is all
after
bone.
the bad guy to see if we can prove that he is indeed the bad guy. So, we're going to go ahead and just dive on in here. Remember, we are trying to do 3 rolls a piece, maybe sometimes 4. We're going to be very full by the end of the night, and hopefully you'll have a very good time.
Oh, the carbs.
Hear ye, hear ye. Caleb Collicott is indicted for the willful murder of his brother Frederick Collicott, the previous 16th Earl of Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury?
Shrewsbury.
Also, on a second count, the accused stands charged of the attempted murder of Lord William Breeden, the current Earl of Pembroke.
I call Mr. Simon Trumbull to the stands.
Yes.
Mr. Trumbull, you are Caleb Collicott's cousin by birth, are you not?
Yes. Caleb is my father's brother's youngest son.
And yet here you are as a witness to the attempted murder of Lord Pembroke by your cousin.
Yes. Family connections aside, I cannot condone murder.
Could you please tell us what happened the evening of February 28th, the year of our Lord, 1814?
Well, I was standing on the balcony just behind my cousin at the Alvanley Ball when I saw him pour the contents of a large, ornate ring into the champagne glass of Lord Pembroke.
And what did you do?
I entered through the door of the balcony and forced Caleb to the ground before he could flee, and I removed the ring from his hand.
Did you see anything else?
Yes. Lord Pembroke had picked up his glass and was about to drink the tainted champagne when Miss Rose Warren took the glass from him, thereby saving his life.
What happened after you secured both your cousin and the poisoned ring?
Well, I'll tell you. A Bow Street runner took custody of Caleb, and the ring and drink were sent for testing with Dr. Matthew Orfila, an acclaimed scientist.
Very good. Now then, about the night of the older cousin, Frederick Collicott, died. You were witness to his illness and subsequent death, were you not?
Yes, I was present.
Can you describe his behavior that evening?
Well, during the party he was fine, eating and drinking and having what appeared to be a very good time. Shortly after drinks with the guests, he became violently ill.
He continued to be sick throughout the night, vomiting constantly and making frequent trips to the chamber pot before he finally expired.
Did you have an occasion to call a doctor during this illness?
Yes, we called a physician. He said that my cousin appeared to be suffering from cholera, but he could not be sure. The absence of symptoms prior to that evening seemed odd.
Do you believe he was poisoned?
Yes, I believe he was poisoned in the same manner Lord Pembroke was almost poisoned.
Do you have cause to believe that?
Aside from the fact that I remember Caleb having access to the drinks that evening just before Frederick became sick, I can attest to the fact that Caleb and Frederick did not have a close relationship. It was, in fact, quite volatile. That evening was no exception.
Are you saying the accused had an argument with the deceased the evening Frederick Collicott died?
Yes, just before Caleb went to prepare the drinks, he and Frederick were having a heated discussion about Caleb's future.
His future?
Frederick was not prepared to let Caleb live in his house forever. He planned to marry eventually, and he was hoping Caleb would find something meaningful to occupy his time, in addition to providing him other lodgings, such as the military or clergy.
I gather the accused was not amenable to this idea.
No, he was not.
Thank you, Mr. Trumbull. I believe that is all for now.
Right.
Miss Rose Warren, please. Miss Warren, earlier we heard Mr. Trumbull tell us that you removed the poisoned drink from Lord Pembroke's hand just before he drank it. Is this correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And are you accustomed to taking beverages from the Earl often, Miss Warren?
No, not at all.
Can you tell us why you did so the night of the ball?
Like Mr. Trumbull, I also witnessed Caleb Collicott pouring something into Lord Pembroke's drink. As Lord Pembroke is the fiancé of a friend of mine, and indeed someone I count as my friend, I felt obligated to prevent him from drinking the champagne.
That is very admirable, Miss Warren. I did not mean to offend.
No, I must apologize. I'm a bit nervous.
That is understandable under the circumstances. Now then, may we continue?
Yes, by all means.
Did you see the ring that was removed from Caleb Collicott's finger the night of the Alvanley ball?
Certainly I saw it.
And would you say you had a good look at the ring?
Yes.
So if you were to see it again, would you recognize it?
Absolutely.
Very good. Now you were also in attendance at the party being held by Frederick Collicott, is that correct?
Yes, I was there.
What, if anything, did you observe?
I commented to Lord Caleb Collicott on his unusual ring. He became quite nervous and stuck his hand in his pocket. He then quickly changed the subject.
Why is this so meaningful?
It was the exact same ring I saw him wearing at the Alvanley ball. The one from which I saw him shake a white powdery substance into Lord Pembroke's drink.
Thank you, Miss Warren. I would now like to call Lord William Pembroke. Lord Pembroke, this court has been told that Caleb Collicott made an attempt on your life at the Alvanley ball. Do you find this surprising?
No, I do not.
Why not? Surely you're not the type to inspire a man to murder you on a regular basis.
I like to think not. However, in this case, Collicott made untoward advances on my soon-to-be wife, and I retaliated in a manner that he may have found humiliating. I believe his humiliation turned to a murderous rage that then resulted in this attempt on my life.
I see. Could you recount the details of the actual attempt on your life, sir, as you remember them?
I wasn't really aware of much until Mr. Trumbull knocked Collicott over. I heard the noise, and out of concern for my drink, I removed it from a nearby table, as most gentlemen do, before turning to watch the festivities. Just as I was about to take a drink of my champagne, Miss Warren suddenly appeared before me and removed the glass from my hand. Our other friends ushered my fiancée and myself away from the fray at that point, and I regret to say I did not witness anything that followed.
So you didn't actually see anyone poison your drink?
No, I did not.
What about the night your good friend Frederick Collicott died? Did you see anyone poison him?
Not exactly.
What did you see exactly?
I saw Collicott wearing the ring in evidence the night of the dinner party prior to him making Frederick's drink, but immediately afterwards he was not wearing it. I noticed it missing as he handed the drink to his brother.
Did you notice anything else of import?
Well, Collicott did not take his eyes off his brother until Frederick had finished his drink. I thought it odd at the time, and many times since. Frankly, I have always suspected that Collicott played a nefarious role in the death of his brother.
Thank you, Lord Pembroke. That will be all.
Yeah, sure.
I would now like to call Mr. Timothy Basie. Mr. Basie, you're employed as a Bow Street runner, are you not?
Yes, sir.
And you had the occasion to be called out to the Alvanley Ball the night of the 28th?
Yes,
Can you tell me where the ball was being held?
in Grosvenor Square, sir.
Did you find it unusual to be called to such a grand affair for what was reported to be criminal activity?
Yes, sir.
Will you explain how you came to be in such an unusual situation?
I was summoned by the footman of the Dowager Duchess of Lancaster. He reported on her behalf that someone was trying to kill someone else at the ball.
Can you state the hour of the day that you received the summons?
I believe it was near 11 at night, sir, but my papers would tell me the exact time.
I think 11 is close enough, Mr. Basie. How soon after you received the summons did you arrive at the ball?
As near as I can recollect, it took me about a half hour or so to reach the party.
And what did you observe there?
I saw that man sitting atop that man.
Did you see or hear anything that caused you to feel justified in taking an earl into custody?
Yes, sir. When the Earl, the bad one that is, insisted that the champagne was not poison, the pretty lady here asked him to prove it by drinking some of it.
An excellent way to prove whether or not he was poisoned.
But he wouldn't do it. Said he wasn't thirsty just then. That was all I needed to hear.
Was the prisoner then detained by you and your man?
He was.
And he was examined shortly afterwards?
Yes, the very next morning.
Were you present for the questioning by the magistrate?
Yes, sir, I was.
Did the prisoner say anything else that led you to believe he was guilty?
He said they both deserved to die.
And who were the they to which he was referring?
The Lords Shrewsbury and Pembroke, sir.
In light of everything you have seen and heard, do you believe Caleb Collicott is a murderer?
Without a doubt, sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for your time and service. Magistrate Schofield, please. Magistrate Schofield, did you have the opportunity to hear the facts on this crime within a reasonable time period following the suspect's arrest?
Yes, the next morning.
Can you corroborate what Mr. Basie said about what happened at the offices on Bow Street that morning?
Yes, everything he said happened took place just as he described.
So, Caleb Collicott did indeed say that Lord Pembroke and Lord Shrewsbury deserved to die?
Yes, he also attempted to assault Miss Warren during the interview.
Heavens. Good Lord, man. No shame.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yes, during the interview it was mentioned that if Lord Shrewsbury had indeed been poisoned in the same manner as Lord Pembroke, it stood to reason the toxin could be found in the deceased's body. There is a doctor in town that is able to scientifically detect poisons. and he would be able to conclusively say if the same type of toxin was in both the champagne and the deceased.
So, what did you do with that information, Magistrate?
I had the body exhumed, and the doctor was able to retrieve samples to test.
And what did he find out?
I believe you should ask him yourself.
That is an excellent idea. You're excused, Magistrate. Dr. Matthew Ophila, to the stand, please. Dr. Ophila, could you please tell the court something of your credentials and expertise?
Ah, oui. I studied chemistry and medicine in Paris, where I received my medical degree. I am the author of the Treatise Poison, is a treatise of poisons.
Thank you, sir. Can you confirm that you were able to retrieve samples from the body of Frederick Collicott for testing?
Oui, I did.
And what, if anything, did you discover?
First, I determined that Frederick Collicott had indeed been poisoned, and that was the actual cause of the Earl's death. Also, upon more testing, I can confirm without a doubt that the unique combination arsenic, copper, phosphorus found in the tainted champagne, which there is no doubt the accused poisoned, was the exact mixture found in the tissues of the deceased Frederick Collicott. And in addition, I had the senior Collicott exhumed, and in his hair still present despite the length of interment, I also found the same blend of poison.
Good heavens.
What the? So is it your expert opinion that the same person who tried to poison Lord Pembroke also murdered both Frederick Collicott and Isaac Collicott?
That is the only conclusion. Oui.
Thank you, Doctor. You have been very helpful.
Oui.
Yes, I have.
I would like to close my case.
Prisoner, the evidence being gone through on the part of the prosecution. Now is the time for you to make any defense you have to offer, or to produce any witnesses that you wish to be examined.
Gentlemen, as to the lamentable catastrophe for which I am now on trial before this court, I am a gentleman, and to deliberately kill either my brother or my father with such malice would be considered monstrous, and I assure you I am not a monster. Clearly, in deference to the testimony heard today, my brother and father were apparently poisoned, which I heartily regret, but no one here has proved that I did the poisoning. I had no personal or premeditated malevolence toward my family, and as for Lord Pembroke, I have no ill will toward that man either. I cannot say what my cousin and this woman have against me to malign my name thus, but I did not tamper with Lord Pembroke's drink at Alberley's ball. I admit that I argued on occasion with my brother, but what brothers don't quarrel from time to time? The same is true of my father. I tried very hard to live up to the man's expectations, but I fear I came up lacking. It is a lifelong regret that my father could not live to see the man I have become today, present circumstances aside, of course. Stop mocking me.
Do you have anything else to say, Lord Shrewsbury?
No, sir. I cannot believe that these obviously intelligent men of the jury would believe that a gentleman such as myself could countenance the murder of anyone.
Do you have any character witnesses you would like to call?
No.
Everybody
None?
hates you.
No, sir.
Very well, you may be seated. Gentlemen of the jury, you are now to try an indictment which charges the prisoner at the bar with the willful murder of Frederick Collicott, who was murdered by way of poison, and the attempted murder of Lord William Pembroke by the same means. Also, I feel an added charge must be made, the murder of the prisoner's father, Isaac Collicott, also by poisoning. I leave you, gentlemen, to form your judgment upon the evidence which has been adduced in support of the case having been presented by Mr. Trumbull, Miss Warren, Lord Pembroke, Dr. Orfila, and of course the law officers, Mr. Basie and Magistrate Schofield. I conclude by advising you, the jury, to take all the facts into their most serious consideration. If you have any doubt, you will give the prisoner the benefit of that doubt. But if you perceive him guilty of the crimes alleged against him, you will find him guilty. 2.5 minutes later.
Well, that was fast.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty upon the indictment for murder and attempted murder and upon the coroner's inquisition.
Caleb Collicott, you stand convicted of the willful murders of Frederick and Isaac Collicott and the attempted murder of William Breeden. What have you to say why the court should not give you judgment to die according to the law?
Prisoner at the bar, you have been convicted by a most attentive and merciful jury of the most malicious and atrocious crimes it is in the power of human nature to perpetrate, that of willful and premeditated murder. This is a crime which in all ages has been held in the deepest detestation, a crime as odious and abominable in the eyes of God as it is hateful and abhorrent to the feelings of man. I sincerely hope that in the short time that has elapsed since the commission of this atrocious offense, you have been consciously soliciting pardon from the Almighty, for only through the merits of your Redeemer will you refine mercy. It only now remains for me to pass the dreadful sentence of the law, which is, that you be taken hence to the place of execution, where you shall be hanged by the neck until you are dead, your body to be dissected and anatomized accordingly.
And with that, court's adjourned. So that's the deleted scene, did not make it in the second book. It really breaks down the details of exactly how these men were killed and exactly how odious Caleb Collicott truly is. And you may remember Caleb is also the villain in the first book, Taming Her Forbidden Earl. So I think it took 2 books, but he finally got his comeuppance. So we are grateful for that.
What a douche.
Yeah, he's kind of really a bad guy. And yet trying to convince the jury that, hey, yeah, I love everybody and they love me, but he has
That slimy weasel.
nobody stands up to speak for him. That's not a good sign.
I have a lot of money and a title.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be here.
Exactly. So just goes to show that justice can happen, and did in this case. And I want to, again, this was quite a long reading, so I want to thank my friends Randy and Kara for helping us out with this. I think it went really well, and I had a wonderful time, and I hope you all did too, and you'll be back to watch Treasure Tidbits in the future. If you haven't seen any of the other episodes, go back and check them out. And then you should always take a look at the outtakes, because with this group, and, well, frankly, with everybody that helps me out with these, things can get a little crazy. So, yeah. For example, maniacal laughter from Kara.
Wow.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
No, not nowhere.
From the pit down there somewhere, bubbles up the maniacal laughter. So with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. And again, stay tuned to hear Mayde and Ireland playing us out. And there'll be more information
I feel
about...
like you forgot the name of the band for a second.
Yeah.
Probably.
The band that's helping her?
Yeah.
Very, very, very blonde. In any case, there'll be more information about Mayde in Ireland, and also myself and my books at the end of the video. So thanks again.
Lands our fathers plowed in, the soil it is the same, and the places our prayers have just got different names. We talked about the friends who died, we hope there'd be no more. But it's little and we realize the tragedy in store. And there were roses, roses, there were roses, roses, and the tears of the people cried together.